Welcome. Today we're going to tackle a really old, really big idea about who we are. We're diving into a concept called the unified self, and it just might change the way you think about your mind, your body, and, well, your soul. So let me ask you this. Are you just a ghost in a machine? It's a question that is echoed through the ages. Is your body just some kind of temporary ride, a fleshy chest for the real you? Or is there something else going on, something deeper and more connected? On the one hand, you've got the view most of us know, the dualistic one. You know, a physical body with a separate, non-physical soul trapped inside. But then there's this other model, the unified self. And this one says, no, you're not a ghost in a machine. You are a single, whole being where your consciousness is the bloom that rises from the biological vine. I love that imagery. All right, so let's really get into this unified self model. We're going to set aside that idea of a captive ghost for a minute and try to see ourselves as a complete, coherent system. This poem just captures the whole idea so perfectly. It's basically saying, hey, forget that old fable of the ghost. It frames the self, what's called the Nafs here, not as some separate thing, but as consciousness that springs right from our physical being, from our marrow's coast. Now, to really wrap our heads around this model, we need to understand three core ideas that all work together: the Ruh, the Nafs, and the Aql. Let's break down what each of these really means. Okay, first up, the Ruh. Now, this is important. Don't think of this as your personal soul. Think of it more like a universal divine energy. It's the spark, right? The current that brings the whole biological system to life. It's what makes something animate instead of inanimate. It's impersonal, kind of like electricity that can power a million different things. And this verse from Surah Al-Isra just makes the point so clearly. The Ruh is described as being from the Amr, the affair or the command of God. It's a divine matter, a force that we've been given very little knowledge about. It's not some personal thing we can bottle up and define. Okay, let's get to the Nafs, because this is where it gets really personal. The Nafs. Well, the Nafs is you. It's your personality, your consciousness, the whole collection of your memories and choices. It's not hiding inside you. It's the conscious self that emerges from your living, breathing, biological body. And here's the crucial part. The nafs is the one that's held accountable. This verse says that every nafs will taste death and be compensated. So it's the complete self, the whole conscious person, that goes through life, death, and judgment, not just a piece of you. But what is it that makes the nafs accountable? Well, that brings us to our third piece of the puzzle. The Aql, or the intellect. This is our ability to reason, our power to tell right from wrong, to think things through, and to make a choice. You could almost call it the operating system for our moral decision-making. So, how does this all fit together? I think this analogy makes it super clear. Your body and your brain, that's the vehicle, the hardware. The Ruh is the ignition, that divine spark that turns the engine on. And your nafs, guided by your aql or intellect, that's the driver, the personality that actually emerges and takes the wheel, steering that vehicle through life. Okay, so we've got the framework down, but what does this actually look like in our day-to-day lives? Well, that takes us to what's often called the moral journey of the self, or the battlefield within. This verse from the poem just sets the scene so powerfully, doesn't it? This internal battlefield is where our commanding self, our base desires, our raw appetites, clashes with our higher self. It is a constant private war. And this internal struggle isn't just a dead end. It's a journey. It's a process of growth. The nafs can actually evolve. It can start out as the commanding self, just driven by raw instinct. But then it can grow into the reproaching self, which is where our conscience starts to kick in. And the ultimate goal? To reach the tranquil self, a state of real peace and alignment. You know, that second stage, the awakening of a conscience, it's so important that it's mentioned right here in Surah Al-Qiyamah. The self-reproaching soul, the nafs al-lawwama, that is that inner voice. It's that feeling you get when you know you've messed up. It's the critical step towards self-correction and actually growing as a person. And this is the final destination. The tranquil soul, the nafs al-mutmainah. It's that state of deep contentment and security. It's the self that has fought on that inner battlefield and finally found peace by aligning its own will with a higher purpose. Okay, let's bring this all home. Let's talk about what makes this whole unified model so incredible: the marvel of union. So if you take away just one thing, let it be this. There is no clean break between physical and spiritual. They aren't two different things fighting each other. Your conscious, moral self, your nafs, is the living, breathing result of both of them working together, completely integrated. So what happens after we die? What endures? Well, in this model, it's not some ghost floating out of a machine. What endures is the accountable I. It's the complete pattern of who you were, your personality, your choices, your consciousness. That entire living record is what's preserved. And the poem just wraps it all up perfectly. No ghost departs, but the accountable I. We really are a marvel of design, aren't we? From dust to thought. We are entrusted with this incredible integrated self, and we are accountable for what we do with it. And that leaves us with a final, really powerful thought. In this unified reality, in a universe that runs on laws, the responsibility is completely on us. With every single choice, every action, we are the ones building our own future, constructing either our ruin or our eternal peace. So, what are you building?